pleasure or good feelings, or are they alleviating anxiety? Now that you've decided which one of those it is, we're going to take baseline data. Baseline data means that you are going to watch and observe your child for a certain amount of time, and you're going to see where are they right now without me intervening, or whatever intervention you've been doing, yelling, telling them to stop, or whatever. But before you start this more appropriate intervention, you're going to see where they're at. Wherever they're at right now, you're going to now sit down with your child. You're going to go through this whole program or this whole system of helping them stop, right? So the first thing you want to do is you want to explain to your child why what they're doing is not good for them and why you need them to stop, right? So in a child's way, or however old they are, you're going to explain that to them. So if you have a very young kiddo, or maybe a kiddo with some understanding challenges, you might find and get a social story. You might get a social story, if we're talking about the skin picking, about why it's not good to hurt your sores or to hurt your body, right? And you're going to sit down with your child and you're going to go through this social story. You can create a social story. I can definitely support in creating a social story, but you're going to make it very clear. It might even just be pictures, pictures of an owie, and then the next time they touch it, it's getting worse and more red, and then it's bleeding a little bit, right? You're going to do whatever it takes to help your child understand why you want them to stop, and hopefully they're going to partner with you and agree. Yes, I want you, mom, dad, whoever, I want you to help me stop, okay? First you do that. You got your baseline data. Now you're doing your explanation to the child. Now what you're going to do is you're going to set up a reinforcer for really trying, right? So we're not going to expect our child to go from 60 times a minute of an hour of skin picking to 0. That would be irrational and impractical for us. But we can definitely expect them to go from 60 to less and over time to 0, right? So we are going to pick a goal. And again, you want to sit down with your child and partner. And you can even show them, look, I was taking data. I was looking every time you hurt your owie. And look, this many times, owie, 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 owie. We want to do it less. How many times do you think? And depending on the cognitive understanding of your child, your kid might say, hey, I think I can do it 30 times, or I think I can do it 30 times less. Or you might write down, the little owies, little sad faces, and say, we're gonna aim for this many less. I believe in you, right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to find either of those scenarios that the kid did better. So if the kid did better when they were distracted, or if they did better when they weren't distracted, if they did better when they were by themselves, or when they were with you, whichever one of those had the least number, we're going to now recreate that scenario with the child, and we're going to tell them, hey, look, I'm going to be taking data, I'm going to be counting again and see if we can get less than that, and now what we're going to do, the magical part of what we're going to do is we're going to set up a timer, right? So for our example of the kids skin picking 60 times an hour, which is pretty much once a minute, right? We're going to set up a timer and we're going to say, okay, if they were doing it once a minute, and you can be intuitive, again, partner with your child if they're able to. So you can sit down with your child and say, hey, I want to set the timer for 1 minute and I want you to do it no times in 1 minute. And then you get a break and you can do whatever you want and I'm not going to look, right? Okay, so this is an extreme example because we're looking at minute by minute, but nonetheless, still very effective, right? Or you can sit down with your child and you can partner with them and you can say, what do you think you should be able to do? Now, mind you, you want to set your kid up for success. So if we are going with this scenario 60 times per hour, we don't want the kids to say, hey, I can do it 0 times in an hour, because that's impractical. We will definitely tell them, I believe in you, I definitely believe in you, but let's first, you show me that you can, not do it for 10 minutes straight, right? Or 5 minutes. If your kid got to 1 minute without doing it, that's success. You know that from your data, right? That's moving in the direction of doing it less, right? So whatever number you choose, as long as it's a number that you feel like your child is going to be successful. What we don't want is we don't want the kid to try and then to fail or be unsuccessful and now be diminished and say, I can't, I can't, I can't. We want to set up a situation whereas when the kid tries, they are successful. Okay? Now, let's just say we're going to tell our kid, hey, I think you can, go without doing it for 1 minute. And they're like, two, daddy, two, right? Or they circle 2 happy faces or however they let you know. And you're like, okay, 2 minutes. You set the timer for 2 minutes. And now you're going to tell your child, okay, you're not going to do it for 2 minutes. And then when timer rings, if you didn't do it, this is what you're going to get. Now, this thing that they're going to get, it should be kind of small, but still meaningful and something that's not, not at their own access. They can get it or have it on their own, right? So you might give them a sticker, or a little sticker that's a trophy or a star or, whatever. You might say, okay, we're going to go outside and we get to play on the swings, or do bubbles for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Right? So you do want to set up some reinforcer, not crazy big, but it has to be meaningful. Okay? Now, you're going to tell them that, and then what you're going to do is you're going to tell them, okay, so when you feel like you want to do it, your ball is right here, or whatever that other physical thing is. It's right here. You're going to put it right next to the timer, and if they're left-handed or right-handed, whatever they're doing, you're going to put it right so easy to get for them. And you're going to tell them, okay, you're going to get that and grab that. And then you're going to go through, this is what you do if you need to calm yourself down. You're kidding, I don't need to calm down, I'm fine. No. But look, sometimes when I need to calm down, I just count backwards, or I just think about, oh, how beautiful my skin is going to be again when it heals. Or I just, punch a pillow or whatever you feel like is going to be calming for your kid. Or I just take a walk, and go get water and come back. Whatever it is, whatever you think is going to be calming, what you're thinking, parent, is what might help them to bring their body back to calm when they're getting worked up, right? Like kind of breathing fast, heart rate going a little bit faster. What's going to help them? It might be you're going to ask me for a hug or tight squeezes. Or you're going to ask me, you're going to do like this to me, and I'm going to encourage you and tell you, you can do it. I believe in you. Whatever you think is going to work. Don't worry if it doesn't work. We go back to our data and we try something else, right? So you're going to set up all of these things for your kid. Now, if you have a kid that isn't really able to do these things, you set it up for them and you sit there with it, right? So you're going to give them the ball, you're going to set timer, and you're going to say, okay, no touching skin until timer rings, okay? And then you're going to be right there with them. You give them the ball. If they drop it, you see them going for it, you put that ball in their hand again, or whatever their fidget is. If you see them getting worked up and they're supposed to count, you count with them. Repeat 10, 9, 8. You're doing whatever you need to do to get your child from where they're at to success within that amount of time of not doing it. And then when the timer rings and they didn't do it, you are so happy, they are so happy, and you want to tell them, aren't you proud of yourself? You didn't even do it. That was so easy. As much as you can, parent, you're going to do this over and over and over and over and over again. And you're going to intuitively move that time up. Now, in one day, we're taking our scenario of 60 times in an hour. In one day, you don't want to go from, you're not going to do it for 2 minutes to you're not going to do it for 30 minutes. You probably want to grow it a little bit smaller. Don't worry, parent, day by day, it is going to get better if you sit down and you take time to do this. So there is your plan. And again, like I said, this is a DRL or DRO, which means that we are reinforcing the kid doing that behavior less. And what makes it really stick and work is that we're letting the kid know our expectation. We're giving them that timer so that they can see that expectation and not feel like it's forever and ever. And then we're giving them the reinforcement. And so now we're reconnecting in their brain between I did that bad thing and I felt better. Now it's I didn't do that bad thing and I got something, so I felt better, right? So this is how reinforcement works, but this is how we're going to reinforce them not doing that thing, not doing that sensory thing that we don't want them to do anymore. And we're going to shift them to, respectfully understanding whatever they're doing, they're getting something out of it. So we're shifting them to doing something else that's going to hopefully get them that same thing out of it. You are going to see this work like magic to decrease those sensory behaviors.